Behind the bright lights of the television set and the smiles that millions of fans see on screen, there lies a truth that no one expected. John Reardon, the face of Hudson and Rex, has broken the silence, and what he revealed about the team working on the show has left fans stunned. Forcing everyone to look beyond the polished image of friendship and teamwork, John Reardon has always been known as the calm, steady presence of Hudson and Rex to fans. He is not just Detective Charlie Hudson, but the heart of the series itself. His bond with Diesel, the German Shepherd who plays Rex, has been celebrated all over the world as the soul of the show. But what most people don't know is the pressure that builds behind the camera. While the finished product looks flawless, the process of creating it can be far from easy. John recently spoke in a way that surprised many, choosing to expose what really goes on when the cameras stop rolling. He didn't speak with anger, and he didn't lash out. But his words painted a picture of long hours, endless rehearsals, and the constant push to meet expectations that often left both cast and crew feeling drained. Fans were shocked because they had always believed the team to be a perfect, happy family. Hearing John hint at struggles within the group shattered that image. He explained how working with an animal co-star, while magical on screen, comes with unpredictable challenges that affect the entire team. A simple scene can take hours to capture because Rex must be guided, calmed, and directed to perform exactly as the story demands. For John, this meant repeating takes over and over until perfection was reached, no matter how tired the crew became. He exposed the fact that while the team works hard to keep the show entertaining, the toll it takes is rarely seen by the outside world. This revelation began to spread quickly, with fans asking themselves if the glossy picture they had imagined about life on set was real at all. When John Reardon chose to open up. What caught people's attention most was not anger or bitterness, but the honesty in his tone. He spoke carefully, but each word carried weight. For years, fans had assumed that the Hudson and Rex team was like a family both on and off the set. The idea of laughter between takes, cheerful banter in the trailers, and a bond as strong behind the camera as it was in front of it became part of the show's charm. But John revealed a different side, one that most television viewers never think about. He exposed the quiet tensions that sometimes rise when a production is running on a tight schedule. It was not about hatred or rivalry, but about the human strain of doing the same scenes over and over, pushing through exhaustion, and always being expected to deliver perfection. He explained that working with Rex was both a gift and a test. The dog, brilliant as he is still an animal, and animals have moods, distractions, and limitations. There were days when Rex simply wasn't in the mood to cooperate. A scene that looked effortless on screen could have taken hours to complete, with handlers repeating commands, crew adjusting cameras, and John himself keeping his energy consistent even as his patience was tested. He admitted that these moments created silent frustrations among the team. Crew members, tired from endless retakes, would exchange glances. Directors would press for just one more shot, and John, as the lead, had to stand in the center of it all, balancing the demand for professionalism with the reality of being human. What fans rarely saw was how the pressure of production could build small cracks in relationships. Long hours meant less rest. Less rest meant shorter tempers. A simple disagreement about a scene could stretch into a quiet coldness between people who had worked together for years. John never pointed fingers or named names, but the way he described it made one thing clear. The Hudson and Rex team was not the perfect family that the world imagined. They were a group of hardworking professionals caught in the demanding machine of television. And sometimes that machine left little room for kindness or patience. The revelation struck hard because fans had always admired the warmth of the cast. Seeing John smile alongside his co-stars at events or hearing stories about how close the team was made the show feel special. But his words suggested that this closeness was sometimes a mask. He hinted at moments when the weight of the show's success rested on his shoulders, when being the lead actor meant carrying not just his own performance, but also the morale of everyone around him. There were times when he felt isolated, when he wished he could simply enjoy the bond with Rex without the stress of everything else. And yet, the demands of television never allowed that. Fans reacted strongly to these revelations. Some were shocked, refusing to believe that the team could ever struggle. They wanted to hold on to the image of unity and joy that had been presented for years. Others, however, understood immediately. They saw John's honesty as a reminder that behind every smiling photo or polished episode is a group of people fighting to keep everything together. They admired his courage to speak up, because many actors would have chosen silence rather than risk breaking the illusion. But perhaps the most powerful part of John's words was what he left unsaid. He never accused, never blamed, and never spoke with bitterness. Instead, he exposed the truth with a kind of quiet bravery, as if saying, "This is the reality," and it's time fans understood. His revelation pulled back the curtain on a show that millions adore, showing the sweat, the stress, and the small battles that shape each episode. And in doing so, he changed how people saw not only the Hudson and Rex team, but also the world of television itself. For fans, it was no longer just about a detective and his loyal dog solving crimes. It became a story about the people behind the scenes, people who were working harder than anyone knew, carrying struggles that had been hidden for years. John's words echoed like a challenge to look deeper, to question the polished image, and to understand that even the most beloved shows are built on more than just smiles and easy teamwork. The more John Reardon's words spread, the more people began to question the perfect picture they had carried in their minds. Hudson and Rex had always been sold as a series built on warmth, loyalty, and teamwork. But John's quiet exposure forced fans to look at the cracks in the foundation. Suddenly, interviews that once seemed lighthearted were being rewatched with suspicion. Smiles that looked genuine now seemed almost too polished, too controlled. Viewers began asking themselves, how much of what we see is real? And how much is just part of the performance? John never set out to tear anyone down. His goal was not to shame the team, but to tell the truth about the sacrifices that come with success. He revealed how the pressure of keeping a hit show alive can push people beyond their limits. Imagine waking up before dawn, memorizing endless lines, spending hours rehearsing, and then standing under hot lights until late into the night, all while knowing that even the smallest mistake could mean starting over again. He exposed the way exhaustion creeps into every corner of life when filming season after season. What fans call entertainment comes at the cost of sleepless nights and personal sacrifices that rarely make the headlines. But what made his revelation sting even more was how it touched on the idea of silence. John hinted that for years, cast and crew had brushed problems aside, never speaking openly about the tension. Jokes covered up stress, and polite smiles hid the fatigue. Everyone wanted to protect the show's image, because to admit struggle might risk the fragile balance of success. By breaking that silence, John not only exposed the truth, but also opened the door to uncomfortable questions. How many others felt the same way but never spoke up? How many friendships on set were strained behind the camera, even while the world believed in their closeness? This shift in perspective hit the fan base like a storm. Some fans felt betrayed, as though they had been misled into believing a fairy tale. Others felt relief, finally understanding why certain interviews or moments had seemed off without explanation. In fan forums, debates exploded. Was John brave for speaking out, or was he risking the reputation of the team that had worked so hard to build something loved worldwide? The discussion quickly grew larger than just the show. It became a reflection of the entertainment industry itself. People began to wonder if every smiling cast photo they had ever seen from any show was just a mask. John's words exposed a pattern bigger than Hudson and Rex. The demand for perfection in television hides the human cost behind the curtain. His honesty became a mirror, showing fans how little they actually knew about the people they admired. What seemed like a dream job suddenly appeared as a battlefield of deadlines, pressure, and unspoken struggles. And yet, through all of this, John's respect for his co-stars remained clear. He never insulted or diminished their efforts. Instead, he revealed that they were simply human, caught in the same storm he was. He spoke of the heavy responsibility that comes with being a lead actor, not just delivering his own performance, but also carrying the energy of the set, lifting others when morale dipped, and never letting his own fatigue show. In exposing the reality, John reminded everyone that even heroes, whether detectives on screen or actors in real life, are vulnerable to breaking under pressure. As the story grew, fans began to see John not only as an actor, but as a whistleblower of sorts, someone willing to pull back the curtain even if it risked upsetting the image the world adored. His words became a spark, igniting curiosity, doubt, and admiration all at once. And with that spark, the legend of Hudson and Rex shifted forever. The show was no longer just about a detective and his dog. It had become a symbol of the hidden truths in the entertainment industry, truths that John Reardon had dared to expose. The tension was now at its peak. The question echoing everywhere was simple but sharp. If John Reardon had finally spoken out, what more was there to uncover? And if this was only the beginning, what secrets about the Hudson and Rex team were still waiting to be revealed? As the dust settled from John Reardon's revelation, one truth became impossible to ignore. The image of the Hudson and Rex team would never look the same again. For years, fans had believed they were watching not just a television show, but a family. The chemistry on screen had been so strong, so believable, that it seemed impossible to imagine cracks beneath the surface. But John's words stripped away the layers of illusion, leaving behind a raw picture of what it really means to build a show that millions depend on for entertainment. That the climax of his exposure came not in the details of long hours or creative struggles, but in the humanity behind it all. John revealed that even success can feel like a prison. Being part of something beloved by so many is a gift, but it also comes with invisible chains. Every smile at a press event, every autograph signed, every interview answered with cheerful words, all of it demanded energy he didn't always have. Yet he gave it anyway, because to disappoint fans felt unthinkable. That honesty shook people. For the first time, they saw not Detective Charlie Hudson, but John Reardon, a man caught between his love for the craft and the weight of expectation pressing down on him. Fans began to wrestle with this new reality. Some defended the team, saying that John's words only highlighted the natural struggles of any workplace. Others argued that his openness was an act of bravery because it forced the world to face something uncomfortable, that behind every glamorous success is a trail of sacrifice. The debate itself became bigger than the show. Comment sections filled with people comparing their own jobs, their own hidden struggles, realizing that what John had exposed was not just about Hudson and Rex, but about life itself. The drama reached its peak when people started asking, what happens now? Would this revelation damage the team's unity? Would it harm the reputation of the show? Or would it open the door for change, making the industry kinder, more honest, more human? These questions carried weight because John had done something rare. He had broken the code of silence that usually keeps these truths buried. And once a secret is revealed, it cannot be forgotten. John himself never framed his words as an attack. Instead, they felt like a warning and a plea. A warning that the glossy perfection of television always comes at a cost, and a plea for fans to understand the reality behind the curtain. He wanted the world to see that the Hudson and Rex team was not flawless. They were people, flawed and tired, but still committed to their craft. In exposing the truth, he didn't destroy their image. He made it real. The story closes on a note of deep reflection. For fans, the show will never look the same. Every scene, every smile, every playful moment between Hudson and Rex will now carry an unspoken question. What was happening behind the camera that day? Was the laughter genuine, or was it a mask to cover the fatigue? These questions don't weaken the show. They make it more human. And perhaps that is John Reardon's greatest gift to his audience. Not just entertainment, but honesty. As the credits roll in the minds of those who heard his words, one final thought remains. In exposing the truth, John has reminded everyone that behind every story, there are people. Behind every polished scene, there is struggle. And behind every beloved hero, there is a human being fighting battles no camera will ever capture. So now, the question is no longer about whether John Reardon exposed the Hudson and Rex team. The real question is this: did he set them free by finally telling the truth?